Greetings, Hadison here, coming to you live from the capital city of Mpumalanga, Ngisembombela, Lowveld. Coming to you on behalf of Hadison Podcast, the Black Mind First Village. I am here attempting to do a book review for the second time. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Happy Heritage Day to everyone of South Africa. For those who are not in South Africa, Heritage Day is the day in South Africa where South Africans celebrate their culture. South Africans celebrate all their different cultures. In other words, it is the day where King Shaka, who is the founder of the Zulu Nation, he was assassinated. So they made this day to be Heritage Day, whereby each and everyone is going to celebrate their cultures. So I'm here to do a book review for a book that I've listened to. To check that book, go to our YouTube channel and check it. Just go and check Hadison_global, and then you're going to find it there. Or maybe Kosnatim to Hadison, and then you're going to find our channel there, and you'll get the book there. There's a playlist that we've done for books. It's a book club, and please check it and then check the books. So the title of the book that I'm going to do today is Eat That Frog: The 21 Great Ways to Stop Procrastinating. It was written by Brian Tracey. I have read quite a number of his. Each and every one of us can check them. If you don't like reading books, you can check them on YouTube. Just go and check Brian Tracey audiobooks, and then you'll find them there. And I am telling you, you're going to. If you're not going to enjoy them, they're going to. Is creative procrastinating. Use ABCDE method. Focus on key results areas. Apply the law of 3. Prepare thoroughly. Take one. Create large chunk of time. Develop a sense of agency. And the last one is single-handle every task. So I'm going to try to break down these rules according to my understanding, or according to the way I understood the. You don't need to actually have like a career goals on. You need career goals, you need relationship goals, you need academic goals, you need like all kinds of goals that are there, and you have to structure them correctly. So you need to find your goals, you need to find the things that you want to chase, and they must have a balance. You don't need to grow on one sphere actually or academically. So like only have metric, like you don't do short courses and all those kind of things. So when you set your goals, you need to make sure that your goals are like it's not only one part of the body that's growing. Each and every part of the body, each and every part of your life is and then the other doesn't grow, and then it's not going to balance. For an example, it's not going to help you to have a great physical body, but not being able to provide for a family and all those kind of things, because you didn't put the goals, and then you put structures for your mental health to say, I know I come from a apartheid. Our country has apartheid, so there's a lot of trauma that's coming from our. Unfortunately, if we don't take care of that, it's going to go down to our kids as well. So for you to be a balanced person, when you set your goals, you need to keep that in mind, to say my mental health can be like traumatic and all those kind of things, and things that are believed to be for men, or things that are believed to be for women. But for you to become a better father, for you to become a better parent, and something like that, so you're going to have to grow to a certain level. Your mentality is going to be supposed to be in a certain level for you to be able to become a better parent. So when you're setting your goals, there are some of the things that you're going to have to set for your life, to say, yes, of course, I'm going to have a great shape of your body, because I'm talking about where he's talking about land surveyors. So he's saying, I'm a land surveyor. They are there to make sure that everything is going in order. So, and then he said, he made an example and said, each and every one, we actually need that 2 hours of going to church each and every morning. I mean, each and every week, at least that 2 hours to go to church, so that we'll make sure that this, because for the example, that which means if the bottom room is 3 by 3 meters, by the time you get to the third floor, it's going to be 3 by 2.5 and something like that, because whole of 500 meters is going to be about your life. You don't need to only progress emsebenzini and have a great career, but endlini izinto azikho grand, but emndenini izinto azikho grand, but i-mentality yakho ayikho grand, but i-health yakho ayikho grand, you overweight, but spirituality sakho asikho grand, you're always nje balanced. You even because I focused in one part of my life and I developed it, and as much as that was developing, but the other parts of my life, they were not developing. So when you're setting your goals, make sure that you set the goals, relationship, you set the goals about your career and all those kind of things. So the first law for you to make sure that you stop procrastinating, to make sure that you have the goals, you have the things that you want to achieve. Because if you are still thinking about them, it's not going to help you. So you're going to have to need to put the goals. And these are the 5 goals that I want to achieve. Or to do something, in advance. The previous year that the following year you want to do this kind of things, so that each and every day you work towards those things, because you've already planned in advance to say, in a year I want to do this particular, because it can even help you, because when you meet stumbling blocks, it's going to be easier for you to have thoughts about the stumbling blocks, about the things that could have happened, or that could to achieve these things. For an example, if it's about a relationship is a two-way street. So you have to plan in advance to say, this is what I want to do, but I understand that it depends on other person as well. So by doing that, it allows you to be, obviously there are going to be unforeseen circumstances, things that you didn't think of, or things that you didn't plan for. They're going to happen, but in most parts of it, try by all means that you plan each and every in advance. You know each and everything that's supposed to happen like this and like that. Of course, there are going to be unforeseen circumstances that are going to happen. For an example, if your goal is to if your goal, for an example, let's you don't put only outdoor exercises. You can put outdoor exercises, so that when it's raining, you don't have to go for a run, even if it was scheduled for that day, but you don't go out for a run because it's raining. You can just do a push-up engine and all those kind of things. So by planning in advance, if this happens, you do this. If this happens, you do this. To bring like an extra set of maybe a rope, you're going to need a rope. So if you didn't plan, by the time you get there, it's going to waste your time, because you're going to have to go back and check for ropes and stuff, and that's not a good advice. I should give you. The best advice is to think about any possible thing that can happen, and the only way to think about that would be, do I need warm clothes, do I need cold clothes, and all those kind of things. So by planning, you are limiting you're putting yourself in the best possible scenario to achieve those things, because you've planned, you thought about everything that can happen. Of course, you're not going to think about everything, because it's not all up to you. It's up to the universe. It's up to everything else that's out there. But you don't even know how tall it is, what you're going to need. You don't even have a strategy to claim. You're going to see when you get there, and then sometimes it becomes a challenge. So that's the second law. The third law is apply the 80-20 rule in everything that you do. So basically what this rule means, it's that amounts to 20%. So in each and every that you do, in your goals, in your day-to-day goals, in your day-to-day tasks that you've put for yourself, depending on their goals, or depending on the clear goals that you've put for yourself, you need to understand, you need to make sure that that there's 20% of the goals that are important more than something that you don't want to do, something that when you have to do it, you think twice. But as soon as you do that thing, each and everything else becomes like nothing. It doesn't matter. So that's the 20% that amounts to 80%. So you have to apply that rule in each and everything that you have to do. The biggest goals, the biggest 20% goals, they're going to amount 80% of the outcome. So whatever outcome that you have to do, you don't need everything that consequences that are there. So what are going to happen when, for an example, it's about school, or it's about studying. If you know very well that the consequences of not passing that subject, let me make during my first year at varsity, there was 3 electrical 1, which means according to electrical 2 and electrical 3 the following year. And because electrical 1 on the timetable, it clashes with another subject for the you consider all the good and the bad consequences of each and every task. So as I've said, the 80% outcome is going to come from the 20% tasks, which means if you don't do one of those 20% tasks in your life, it's going to affect you in a very, 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 very a huge way. So you have to make sure that the 20% you do it no matter what. And with the bad consequences, you have to know which things that if I don't do those things, they're going to have a negative consequence in my life. And those things are the things that you have to prioritize on. By doing that, it's going to allow you to make sure that each and everything that you do, you are getting closer and closer and closer to achieving your goals. You know the consequences of not doing something, that they're going to affect you in a very bad way, and you know the consequences of doing those particular 2 tasks, those particular 20% tasks, that by doing those tasks, it's going to put you in a very good space. It's going to contribute 80% of the outcomes in all those tasks that you have on your list. So if it's about relationships, this particular thing, if I do this particular thing, even if I don't do the other things, I know that things are going to be fine. And you know very well as well that if you don't do that particular thing, it's going to affect you greatly in your relationship, because you didn't do those particular things. Even if you can do the other 80%, but because you didn't do the other 20%, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So you have to consider all those consequences and say, what are the bad consequences that can actually happen if I don't do something like this, or if I do something like this, what are the good consequences that are going to happen in my life or in my goals? So those things are going to help you to stop procrastinating, because by doing that, you're actually setting yourself up for success. And there's a chemical that each and every one of us have. It's called dopamine. Chemical, it comes when you're doing something that you enjoy, or when you're doing something that's rewarding. By the time you have this feeling, it's a feeling that's actually assures you that you've done something good, that you've done something right. It's the same feeling that you get when you've eaten the best food that you like, or your favorite meal, or all those kind of things, or if you've done your favorite things that you like to do. So that kind of feeling that you have, it is because of a feeling called dopamine. So by having that feeling, it encourages you to actually do other things, because you feel a sense of victory, you feel a sense of completion of tasks. So you feel like you're the king, you feel like you're the queen, you feel like you're unstoppable. So it's very important to make sure that you consider all the consequences, especially the consequences that are going to help you to achieve your goals, the consequences that are going to put you in a better place or in a better space for you to get closer to achieving your goals. Even if you don't achieve them 100%, but 80% is better than 20%. So that's the very important thing that you have to do. Consider the bad consequences that can happen by you not studying that particular subject. The particular subject that you know, if you don't pass this subject, if you fail this subject, if you don't qualify to write an exam of this particular subject, your life is going to be a mess. For me, on the second year, I didn't have a lot of subjects. I didn't have a lot of modules. I was running around the campus and not doing anything because I failed the major module, and it blocked about 3 or 4 modules that I was supposed to do on the second year. And I was here doing a module of the young year, first year. And should I have known the importance of passing that subject, it could have been important. It could have helped me a lot to actually, out of all the subjects I could have failed. I could have failed. There's a subject that we did, which is communication skills. I could have failed communication skills because there's no communications tool. There was communications 2, but there's no communications 3. So by failing communications 1, it could have been better, because it wasn't going to block a lot of subjects. It's just only going to block that subject, and I could have maybe maneuvered around and make sure that I take it as an extra module when I'm doing my second year. Then it could have worked out pretty well. So that's what we have to do. That's the third rule or law. And then the fifth law is practice creative procrastination. So procrastination can be creative. You can be procrastinating on the good things. And which are those good things? What are the things that they don't have power in your goals. They don't have that particular importance, which means doing them or not doing them, it's kind of the same thing. If you do them, it's going to help you, but it's not the same as not doing them. So if you're not going to do them, it's not going to affect you that much. If you do them, it's not going to change that much of your life. It is going to change it, but by a small margin. So that's very important. That is productive procrastination. You procrastinate on the things that you know, doing them or not doing them, it's not going to affect you that much. It is very important to see those things, and the only way to see those things is actually coming from the first law, which is setting the table. So when you set the tables, you need to know, you need to understand your goals. You need to know what is important in your relationship. You need to understand what is so important about this relationship. But it's not going to be the same for everyone, because people have different kinds of relationships. Some have long distance, some have people who are around but they're not seeing them, some have people that they're staying with them. So it's going to be different. Even with studies, some they're staying at home, so studying is a bit challenging from someone who shall RS, and even from someone who shall RS or shall from a private accommodation, whereby people are doing whatever they want to do, because it's not a student accommodation. So it becomes different for each and every one of us. But you have to understand those kind of things. You have to make sure that when you put your goals, when you make your goals, you understand in my academics, these 5 things are the most important things, that no matter what happens, I do these kind of things. The other things I can always procrastinate. I can always say I'll do this tomorrow, I'll do this when I come back from gym, or all those kind of things. But you know that very well that those things, if you do them or you don't do them, it's not going to matter that much. If you do them, it's going to help you, but by a small margin. If you don't do it, it's not going to affect you that much, by a small margin. So those are the things that you can procrastinate on. Those are the things that you can actually ask someone to do them for you. Those are the things that, if maybe it's a company, if maybe it's a business, you make sure that you put your energy on the things that are very important for a business. Excuse me, sorry. That are very important for a business to function. And the other things, you can always hire someone, because even if they don't do them on time, even if and all those kind of things, even if they don't do them in time, even if they don't do them right, it's just some of the things that you have to do, but they are not so important. If you understand what I mean. So be creative when you're procrastinating. Make sure that you procrastinate on the things that are not so important in your life, that are not so important in your spiritual life, and all those kind of things. But the important things, should it be fasting, it's going to be different from all of us. Should it be fasting? Should it be reading the Bible? Should it be praying? Should it be whatever? Then it's going to be different from all of us. So, for an example, if it's something like your spiritual life, you you can prioritize on praying and fasting and reading the Bible, but some of the things that come with those goals is to going to church. Let's say, for an example, you say, I want to go to church each and every Sunday of the month, but if maybe on that particular Sunday there's something that you have to do, then you can not go to church. It's not going to affect you that much, because if in church it's 2 hours and then you can pray, and then you pray, for an example, because if it's 2 hours, there's going to be all those kind of things, I'm a choir and all those kind of things. But if you can say maybe the praying time in church is going to be 30 minutes, you can pray that 30 minutes, then go wherever you want to go and do whatever that you want to do. So it's something that you can procrastinate, because going to church or not going to church one day in 3 months, in a whole month, is not going to affect you that much. Even if you've gone to church, that's like 25% of the that's like 25% of the equation. Like, to say, if you wanted to go to church every day of the every Sunday of the month, that's 4 times, and you didn't go once, which is like 25%. So it's not going to affect you that much. You have to be creative when you want to procrastinate on the things in your life, in your relationship, if in your personal life, in whatever that you've set your goals on. You need to be creative about procrastinating on those things. And the other law is use your ABCDE method. And by this method is to say, you need to make sure that you structure your goals. You need to make sure that you structure your tasks by saying A, B, C, D, E, F, and all those kind of things, to say what are the most important things, and then the most important things it's A, then you focus on this. Number two, it's B. Number three, C, like something like that. Like, your goals, they need to be structured to know what is the path of achieving those goals. Like, you because you can't start with C, you have to start with A. A should be the starting point in your goals, on whatever goal that you want to achieve. You have to structure them using A, B, C, D, E method. You need to start from the start, or normal from the scratch, going to the second one, going to the third one, going to the fourth one, because sometimes some of the goals, they are a structure. They are a structure. You can't just do anything. Like, you need to for an example, let me make an example, like on my own. For me to be in a zone whereby, when I'm reading the Bible, I understand it. When I'm reading the Bible, I hear the Spirit talking to me. What I do first, I need to put ingoma as a worship and listen to them, or sing, because I can sing. I mean, I can sing. So you do that, you put ingoma, and I listen to them, mostly worship songs, and then they get me in a zone whereby, when I'm reading a Bible, it's not like I'm reading just anything. So it shows that I'm reading a Bible, because the zone that I'm at now, it's different. So I read, and then after reading, I write, and then from there, and then I think about, I read what I wrote, and trying to make sense of it, and all those kind of things. So each and everything that I get when I'm reading, I write it down, so that, because sometimes the Bible can say something like something different, but the way you interpret it, or the way the Holy Spirit talks to you during that time, is different from what is written on the Bible. So I write it down on my notes, and then when I'm reading about those things, then it becomes like a practical thing, like something closer to me, because it's not going to be something that happened in Israel and all those kind of things, but it's going to be something that's close to me. Then that helps me. So that is my structure of doing things. Each and everything has a structure to do them. You can't come and just do things without like having a structure. A must be the first thing to do, and then B, and then C, and then D. So you have to follow that rule. And then you have to focus on the key results areas, which is almost like the same thing that I've been saying, which is to say you need to focus on the 20% things that are going to give you the 80% results. So in your areas, or in your key on your tasks, make sure that you focus first on the key tasks, focus on them, finish them, and make sure that you complete each and every task that you do. You don't have to like have tasks and you don't complete them. You have to complete each and every task that you have. But first you need to focus on the A task. Make sure that A is the key task, and then you focus on A, and then for all the spheres of your life, relationship and all those kind of things, and then you focus on A, then you focus on B, and then you focus on C. So the key tasks, you need to focus on them, the tasks that are going to give you the 80% of the results, even if it's two of them, even if it's one task that you have to do. So if, for an example, you're in a long distance relationship, the only thing that you can do almost as important than other things is to communicate with your person. So if they are far from you, obviously you can't spoil them, all those kind of things. You can, but the way to spoil them, it's the chances are very slim. So, but the only way that you can do is to make sure that you communicate with them, because communication it becomes the key task in that manner, because that person is not close to you. Should it be texting or video call or calling or video texting and all those kind of things? So you have to focus on the key task to say, even if I don't do this, even if I'm send a time on and all those kind of things, but because I've done the key tasks, it almost doesn't matter if I do the other task or not. But if you do them, then it becomes a bonus. But it almost doesn't matter. It doesn't like there's no gap to fill if you didn't do them. Unlike if we didn't test or didn't call and all those kind of things, there's almost like a gap that has been created by doing that. So you have to focus on the key task, and you have to apply the law of three. The law of three is you have to do the three things, the most important three things. You have to do the most important three things in your life. So day to day, when you're planning on your day, on what to do it on the daily basis, make sure that the three important things that you have to do, you do them. Focus on the three things and apply the rules to say you do ABCD, you do 1, 2, 3. Those things you don't compromise on them. You make sure that if there's something that you have to ask someone else to do, it's not those things. Those are the things that need your undivided attention. Those things, they need you to focus on them. No one else should be able to focus on those things except you. So focus on those things. Focus on the key tasks. Focus on using the ABCDE rule, and focusing on your three tasks, 1, 2, 3, and make sure that you focus on those tasks. And you have to prepare thoroughly before you do things. This is the same rule as to say you have to plan in advance. The same thing. So in this case, you've planned to say, I want to do this and this and this and this and that. So now when you're preparing for that, you have to gather all the components that are required. If it's a meal, if you have to cook a meal, if it's going to be a beef stew, you need to be able to have all the ingredients that are going to need for you to be able to get that meal cooked. If it's something that has to do with For an example, in my case, I have to, like, I'm doing applications. I need to make sure that I still have data, because that's the most important thing for me to apply. And I need to know the load shedding schedule, because if there's load shedding, then there's not going to be an internet and all those kind of things. So for me to be in a better space to apply, I need to make sure that I've prepared myself thoroughly. Sometimes I just come and I do application. Let's say, for example, electricity came back at 5, and I get here at 6. By that time, because kwezinye indawo igesi ayikho, there's load shedding, amatower like go slowly, because a lot of people they are taking their network from one tower, so the internet becomes slow. So you have to know, you have to understand that those are the things that you have to do. So in those particular days, I focus on one person. I know I'm going to do 3 applications for one person for the whole hour, or even in an hour and a half. So I'm focusing on one person. So that thing, it makes it easier for me to focus, because when I'm doing the applications, I'm not stressing about the internet, because I know very well that the internet is going to be slow. So I'm patient, because I know I've planned thoroughly. I know exactly that the internet is going to be slowly, because there's load shedding and all those kind of things. I can only stress if maybe the internet, like, there's no electricity, like these days. The electricity I have is always there. So then if my network is banned, then that's when I start to panic and all those kind of things, and restart my PC and all those kind of things. So you have to plan thoroughly before you can begin, for all the tasks that you've planned in advance to want to achieve. For you to achieve, you have to plan, you have to know all the components that are needed for you to achieve those tasks, and to plan. If there's something that you have to go out and buy, go and buy it. If it's something that has to do with the personal life, I mean with your physical life, you want to have a great shape. That's a plan, that you want to have a great shape. But what kind of shape that you want? Ufuna kuba nama-muscle, or ufuna kuba slim, or ufuna kuba njani? And what is required for you to have that? You need to go out to run, or you need to thenga umshini wokulukha endlini, or you need to join a gym and all those kind of things. Then you prepare. And then if it's something like that has to do with maybe like you go to gym, and then you have to structure your finances to say, I need to have an extra 200 or 250 to pay for a gym company, for you to be able to go to gym. Or if it's something that has to do with say it's indoors, and then you're going to need a mat, you're going to need this and that, you're going to need in of gym and all those kind of things. And maybe sometimes you're not going to create a space. For an example, if you have a bathroom that you're not using, then you can create a space there for you to be able to gym there. Because let's say maybe and you won't be able to gym there because it's a small room. Maybe you have to restructure your bed, or and create more space this side and all those kind of things. So you have to prepare thoroughly for in that reason. You have to prepare thoroughly and say, I want to achieve this, how I want to achieve it, what do I need for me to achieve them. All those things, all those components that are required for you to achieve those things, and then you have to put them in place before you actually begin. And the other rule is take one oil barrel at a time. So this simply means, if I put it in simple terms, it means that you have to take one task at a time, one simple task at a time. You don't have to bombard yourself with a lot of things that you have to do. Even if there's a lot of things that you have to do, you focus on those things. You put them A, B, C, D. What are the most important things that I have to do? A, B, C, D, and then structure them 1, 2, 3, and structure them. Then say, what are the 20% things that I have to do that are going to result to 80% of the results, and then put those things in place. And then when you do them, when you do the A task, make sure that you finish the A task before you go to the B task. Make sure that you finish the B task before you can go to the E task. Don't have all the tasks aligned out in your time, and not even like having a proper focus for you to finish those tasks. Because if you have all 5 tasks, doing them at the same time, you're not going to focus. You're going to do this, and then go to do this, and then you do this. but it's not going to get you, because you might even find out that you don't even finish all of the tasks. You leave them hanging in there, and by doing that, which means the tasks that you were supposed to be doing tomorrow, you won't be able to do them because of the tasks that you were supposed to do today, but you didn't finish all of those tasks. So make sure that you you do one task at a time. Finish it, then move on to the second task. Finish it, then move on to the third task. Make sure that you take one barrel at a time. Make sure that you take one step at a time, because a mile, 1,000 mile steps begins with one step. So you won't be able to take a leap on those kind of things if you try to do that. Make sure that you take one task at a time, and the other rule or the other law to stop procrastinating on your life, on your goals, is to upgrade your skills. Make sure that upgrade your skills. Guys, we're living in an age of information. Each and everything, it's moving. Gunama app manje, robotic apps, AI. They are doing all the things that we have to do. So make sure that in this day and age, researching is not going to be an issue, because each and every task that you want to do, there's a robot that's going to help you. There's an AI that can help you to upgrade that particular skill. If for example, you are a teacher and you have kids that are lacking like on your class, and your main goal was to achieve 100% pass rates, you need to upgrade your skills, and like it shouldn't stop like with you understanding on how to teach. You have to also understand the psychology of Antoine. So you might have to get a course or some information about psychology. You have to get a course about psychology, understanding the mindset and all those kind of things, traumas of Antoine, and try to close the gap, and try to make sure that you teach those kids differently. The more you grow the skills, it's the more things become easier for you. So if you stay in a particular skill and you don't upgrade that skill, the more time goes on, people upgrade, their minds upgrade, but you're still not shifting, you're still on the same place. So you have to upgrade those skills to make sure that you stay relevant, to make sure that you stay the best in what you do. You have to upgrade your skills each and every day. Like put that in place to say, what are you going to do to upgrade your skills. If you're a manager, you need to do better. As time goes on, the more you get the experience, you need to learn more how to talk to the colleagues, how to talk to your subordinates, and all those kind of things. You need to learn how to listen to them. Like, it's understandable that when you're still new at the position, you didn't know those things, but the more you upgrade those skills and all those kind of things. So if you didn't know how to write some reports, grow into those things and learn, okay, the reports I'm supposed to be doing, I have to do it like this, and try to find ways to make sure that they help you to upgrade that skill, and make sure that your report it becomes proper, your report it becomes easier to read for each and everyone, because there's nothing worse on reading a report whereby you can't get the information that's being reported to you. So if you're a manager, try by all means to upgrade your skills. Not for managers only, for everyone as well. Even if you are just like on a lower level or on the job, like you are not a manager, try to upgrade your skills to say, at first I didn't know how to do this, and you know of the things that you can do and the things that you cannot do. Try to find a way to learn about the things that you cannot do. Ask someone and to help you to learn about the things that you cannot do, and do all those things. That's going to make your life simple. That's going to make your life easier. It's going to help you grow as well, because each and every time you're going to learn a skill. So if you spend 5 minutes to do something yesterday, and then you learn about it, and then tomorrow is going to take you seconds, because you've learned the skill, you understand. So if this happens, I have to do it like this. If this happens, I have to do it like this, because why? You've upgraded your skills. But if there's something that you did for 5 minutes yesterday, and that didn't even bother you, it's going to always take you 5 minutes. And sometimes when things upgrade and you're not upgrading, you're going to take even much longer time because you're not upgrading. You're staying at the same place, and there's nothing worse on staying on the same place. There is nothing worse. And the other law is identify the constraints, identify your key constraints in your life. This means that in whatever things that you do, you need to understand what kind of limits that you have in that particular thing. So by doing that, it's going to help you if there is a way for you to grow those limits, like on those limits. If there is a way for you that's going to that you can do to actually like increase the boundaries or the limits on that particular thing, then you'll learn to do those or find information about doing those things. But it helps you as well to say, if you know that this particular thing is a limit for me, or my limit is here on this particular thing, it will make you not to stress sometimes, to say, no matter what I do, I'm not going to pass this thing because it's a limit that has been set for me, to say I don't do this, or no, I can't do this, no, I'm not authorized to do this. So if you have to do that, and then you know you can't do this, and then you give it to someone who can, or someone who's supposed to be doing that, it's going to save you time. Not to focus on things that are going to, not to focus on things that you're not supposed to be focusing on. You're going to focusing on things that are actually that are actually yours to be doing, that are actually easier for you to be doing, or that are actually for you to be doing. It's going to be easier like that. But if you have a constraint that you are always trying to push the boundaries on, the constraint that you always try to work over, and you're not even supposed to do that, you're not going to win, and it's going to take you time for no reason. Try to identify your constraint and make sure that if something that you have to do, then you learn about it. But if it's something that you don't have to do, don't even bother, because it's going to take you time and it's not going to help you in any way. Then the other law is to put pressure on yourself. Make sure that in each and everything that you have to do, should it be work, should it be your personal thing, should it be a church, on all those kind of things, you put the pressure on you, you hold yourself accountable in those kind of things. You make sure that you almost become the leader, you almost become the person who is responsible or accountable for that particular thing. That's going to help you to make sure that it gives you something to chase. If you are living a life whereby you're not chasing anything, whereby there's no mirror for you to check, to say you said you're going to do this thing and you're not going to do it. One of the best ways to do those things is to, I remember Witness Mtaka once said this. Witness Mtaka is one guy who owned a property, and he wrote a book in 2020 during COVID. So on 2020, he wrote on Facebook that he's going to write a book about this and this and this and that. So people kept on asking him about the book, because he said it on public, whereby each and everyone like can see, each and every person who is his friend or someone who can access his post or timeline could see that you said at this particular time you're going to achieve this. Have you achieved it? You promised us you're going to do this thing. Have you done it? You promised us you're going to give us a podcast each and every week. Are you doing that? Are you teaching us something each and every week as you've promised us? Are you getting whatever you said that you're going to do? So you have to put the pressure on yourself. You need to put accountability on yourself. You need to take on things. If there's a project that needs to be done and no leader is appointed, in your mind, try to be the leader about that, on that particular project. Try to be the person who say you want to make sure that everything goes according to plan. You want to make sure everything goes according to how they're supposed to be. So you put the pressure on yourself to say, at this particular time I want to have achieved this, at this particular time I want to have achieved this, and that's going to allow you to not lose focus. Your head is going to be straight, because you know you have this thing that you're chasing, and you need to be chasing it by this particular time. So if there's divergence, if there's things that comes along, if there's friends that tells you about this and that, you know very well that because there's something that you have to do, you're starting towards a master's, you're starting towards a doctorate. So you can doctorate, it's about 7 years or plus. So you can't afford to fail a module. You can't afford to fail a test, because that's from a test. Then if you fail a test, and then you fail an exam, then you fail a module, and then you're out, and then you have to come again. And if you understand very well, this thing, it has a bigger effect other than that, because it's time, it's money, it's everything. Like, it's your whole life that's going to waste. So if it's about your academics, you have to make sure that I am going to push. Put the pressure on yourself to say, I want 100%, I want 90%, I don't want anything less than 80. You're pushing yourself, you're putting all those high goals that you have to achieve, which are going to put pressure on you, so that you'll be able to achieve those goals. There's a say that says you have to aim for the moon, so that if you don't hit the moon, at least you hit the stars. So that's what you have to do. You have to aim for the moon all the time. Each and every goal that you have, it has to be the moon, or it has to be the sky. Make sure that you hit for the very best, you aim for the very best, and that's going to put you pressure. That's going to put pressure on you, and it's going to help you to say things. You're not going to repeat things. You're only going to do things once, and you're going to learn them, because you've said to yourself, this day, this particular weekend, I need to focus on this thing, and I have to do it, because if I don't do it this weekend, I'll never get another weekend to do it. And then you do it on that particular weekend. That's putting pressure on yourself. If you want to finish reading a book, you have to stay up all night. You have to make sure that you shut down all the noise and all those kind of things. So whatever plan that you have, make sure that you put pressure on yourself. Make sure that you have so much big goals on that, so that you'll be able to achieve those things, and it's going to actually help you to stop procrastinating and save you a lot of time. And you have to motivate yourself to action. Make sure that you motivate yourself to doing things. Sometimes it becomes difficult to motivate yourself, but you have to motivate yourself to doing things. You have to be the first person to tell you that you can do it. You have to be the first person to tell you that you can do it, because sometimes T-Bag from Prison Break, that guy, I forgot his name. That guy, he once said, we are the prisoners of our own minds, our own emotions, our own thoughts about yourself. They're prisoners, because we think less of ourselves. We think because we've done something wrong, we don't deserve forgiveness. We don't deserve redemption. All those kind of things. Our own selves, we are condemning ourselves. We are telling ourselves that we're going to hell because we've done some mistakes in this life. Can't do that. The only thing, the best thing that you have to do, the very best form of love, is to showing yourself love, is to appreciating yourself, is to loving yourself, is to speaking health about yourself, is to speaking a victory about yourself. Out of all people who can speak ill of you, you should not be one of those people. So make sure that you speak yourself into action. If there's something that you have to do, make sure that you tell yourself that you're going to do it. You can do it. You have all the necessary power that's required for you to do that particular task, and then you do it. Speak yourself into actions. Speak yourself into actions. Do the things that you're supposed to do, because it's not going to help you to plan 80%, 90%, 1, 2, 3, ABCD, key priorities, and then at the end of the day, you don't do anything. Excuse me. You have to do those things that's you've planned to do. You have to do those particular things. So the other law that's there is that tech is the terrible master. So sometimes technology it becomes a terrible master, because it holds us back from achieving our goals. It becomes a distraction. Those screens and all those kind of things, watching my socials and all those kind of things, then becomes a terrible thing in our life. So sometimes you have to acknowledge that. Sometimes you have to know that technology can be a hinderer. So you have to find ways to work around those things. You need to work smart, because the other law says tech is a wonderful servant. You need to make sure that you turn the bad things about technology into the good things. Make sure that your cell phone, your laptop, and everything that you have around you, that's technology. They don't stop you from achieving your goals. They don't stop you from growing. They don't stop you from going out there and chasing your goals. So if you have to read a book, try by all means that, if possible, it's either you listen to that book as an audio, whereby you don't touch your phone, just listening, and maybe having something like AMA notes, whereby you are writing. And if you have to write AMA notes, if possible, try to write on a book or on a diary or something like that, which means you're not going to have to be touching your phone, because while you're writing, you get a notification, all those kind of things. So some of the things, maybe you might have to overlap some of the notifications and only maybe leave those important notifications whereby you need to be notified about those kind of things. Or if possible, you don't have if particular people who buy, you are waiting a response from those kind of people. If possible, you just need to separate your life from other things. So for example, if you are reading a book, you can use what's in a Kindle. No, I think it's a Kindle from Amazon. So you can use that because it has been designed for books. Akuna notifications, akuna ads, and all those kind of things. So try by all means that you use technology to be your servant, and it shouldn't be your master. It shouldn't be something that takes you a lot of time, that takes time from you, but it should be something that you use to minimize things that you have to do just to have more time in your life. So use technology to be your servant instead of using it to be your master, or not even like not to say you're going to use it to be your master, but instead of it becoming your master, hour. So you have to do one thing at a time. You have to focus to see, I am doing this now, and then you do that particular thing, and you don't do anything else. It is very important. If there's an assignment that you are doing, focus on that assignment and not do anything else. It's going to minimize, like it's going to help you to have a lot of time on your plate, because your energy, your mind is onto that. And one thing that's going to help you, if for example you're writing an assignment, you have to use these rules and say you have to plan in advance to say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to research for this assignment. And then there's a law that say prepare thoroughly before you begin. So before you begin doing the assignment, you need to do the research and have all the research you have all the research there, like in front of you, so that when you're doing the assignment, you don't have to go and research, because the more you research, the more your mind switches off. It becomes a challenge to switch it on to that particular thing. I'm not sure if I'm not smart enough to do that, but for me, if I'm focusing on something, and something that needs like something like mental focus, like I have to focus mentally, like I've made an example about reading a Bible. So for me to be in a zone where I know very well that I will be able to read the Bible and hear what the Bible says, not read like and know, but listen, read the Bible and hear what the Bible says to you, because a story of Elijah it's not so relevant to me, but the information that's there, it can be translated to something that's relevant to me. So it is important to make sure that when you're doing that particular thing, your mind is there, you're focused to that, your mind is tuned into that, so that each and everything else, it doesn't come and take you somewhere else. You don't have to think about something else. When you're doing that thing, focus on that particular thing. You have to focus your energy. You have to make sure that when you're doing something, you're doing that thing and that thing alone. And that's going to help you to do that thing quickly, to focus on that thing, and make sure that you move on to the next thing. So you have to focus your attention. And then the other law is create a large chunk of time. Make sure that if there is a way for you to create time, you do that. And one of the way to do those kind of things is to make sure that you have your life planned. before in advance. You have to make sure that you know very well tomorrow what you're going to do when you wake up tomorrow. At this particular time, you want to have done this and that. At this particular time, you want to start doing this and that. That's going to help you to have time on your plate, because if by a particular time you're supposed to doing something and you're not doing, and then it becomes you have to restructure and you have to do those kind of things. And one of the other things that you have to do, where you have to use technology wisely, is to have a reminder. So if there's something that's very important in your life that you have to do, make sure that you put a reminder in your phone. Use your phone to be a servant. Put a reminder and say, tomorrow at 12, I want to start. Excuse me. I want to start doing this particular thing, and at 12, the reminder is going to come and say, "Bra, you're supposed to be doing this particular thing now. Then you're going to be doing that particular thing now." So make sure that you create a lot of time in your place. So if there are things that you used to do when you were not studying, and you can see that they are not important anymore now because you are studying, you need to remove those things and make sure that you have more time to yourself to be doing all the things that you have to do, other than not having time to be doing all the things that you have to do. One of the things that's becoming an issue these days is because I don't remember who I was talking to about these things, is that there are a lot of podcasts now. There are a lot of guys who wants to have podcasts like me, because I want to have a podcast. And there are a lot of guys who are sharing information even out there. There are a lot of guys publishing books and articles and all those kind of things. So one of the thing that becomes an issue is you find yourself to 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 be having a lot of things that you want to do. And by having a lot of things that you want to do, or a lot of goals that you want to achieve, you almost have 10 things that you have to do, and all those 10 things, they require 100 hours for you to do them, and you only have 40 hours to do all those kind of things. It becomes practically not possible. It is impossible for you to do things that require 100 hours and you only have 40 hours. It becomes not practical. So you have to make sure that you create time for yourself. For the things that are not so important, you remove them and make sure that you only have the things that's important to you. So if there's something, if there's a job, for an example, if you're a supervisor and it's something that you have to do, you can always delegate that job to someone else to do it for you, because it's not so important. And even if it doesn't get done properly, it's something like that's going to be easier for you to like manage and all those kind of things, other than the things that you have to do. So for an example, if you're a company that's well known and that has a lot of sales coming in without even your marketing, remove marketing from your plate. Remove marketing from your table. Give it to someone else who can, because you know that marketing is not so important. It doesn't require you to focus your time and energy on that particular thing. Should it be marketing? Should it be whatever, depending on what kind of sphere of your life it is. So for example, if something that has to do with your spiritual life, you can find videos on YouTube and watch them instead of going to church, because going to church is going to take you 3 hours. For an example, if your church is far, and then you're going to wake up and bath and and if you're a woman, you're going to spend an hour or two trying to find something that you can wear, and that's a lot of time just for you to go to church for 2 hours, but you spend almost 4 hours preparing and coming back from church, which means going to church, it took you the whole day, but you've only been to church for only 2 hours, and you've only listened to the sermon that was 1 hour or 30 minutes, because the other time and all those kind of things. If possible, try by all means to create more time on your plate. Have time on yourself for whatever things that you want to do. If there are things that are taking time and they're not so important, remove those things from your table, remove those things from your list, and if possible, give them to someone else, because you know, even if they take a week to do them, it's something that you can live without. if it's something that you have to do but it's not so important, you can always pay someone else to do them instead of scratching your head and trying to do those things, and maybe sometimes end up not even being able to get those things done. And you have to create a sense of agency in your life. You need to understand that you only live once, and there's a possibility that tomorrow you won't be alive. So if there's something that you have to do, don't say tomorrow. Each and everything that has to be done today, now, at this very point in time. So create create your goals in a way that each and everything needs to be done urgently. There's nothing that has to be done tomorrow or something else, because each and everything has to be, if something is scheduled today, it has to be done today, it has to be finished at 4 and all those kind of things. So you have to create a sense of agency in your life, and don't waste time of doing some other things. So when you're planning your life, obviously you have to plan some time for pleasure and entertainment and all those kind of things, but you can't be entertaining yourself at a time where you're supposed to be working, at a time where you're supposed to be studying, at a time where you're supposed to be talking to your loved one, at a time where you're supposed to be spending time with your kids, at a time where you're supposed to be spending time with your family, your grandparents, and all those kind of things, at a time where you're supposed to be learning, or at a time where you're supposed to be researching, and you want to have fun at that particular time. You have to structure yourself in a way, you have to structure your life in a way whereby it's going to allow you to have an agency to say each and everything is urgent. It's supposed to be done today, and then you do it today. It's supposed to be done now, and then you do it now. And the very last law or principle is to single handle each and every task, which is the same as prioritizing your tasks, doing one task at a time. So you have to do one task at a time for you to be able to make sure that you complete a task. You need to focus on them. You need to make sure that if if you're supposed to be running, or if it's a time for physical exercises, at that time you're doing just that and not doing something else, and try to balance the things, and by making sure that do one task at a time, you finish it, and then you move it to the next part. Do one task at a time, and then you do another task. Guys, that's what I actually had for you. I hope you're going to love it. I hope it's going to do some shifts in your life, as it has done shift in my life, especially my work life, trying to balance work life and my personal life. I've tried to use some of these laws, because obviously, out of even if you are reading a book, even if you're studying, you're going to read a Bible, and you're going to read 50 chapters of a book, but only 2 chapters are going to resonate with you, but you're not going to find out up until you read the whole book. So some of the laws that are there, if you can listen to some of them, they are a bit repetitive. And I can think it's because the guy, when he was writing this book, he was still young in writing, because you can be old but be young in something else. So I think maybe it was because he was still young when I was writing these things. So some of the things, it's just a change of words, but they actually mean the same thing. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this. I hope you're going to use these laws to actually change your life, upgrade your life, and elevate your life. Let me repeat these laws for the sake of love for you guys, and for the sake of because I know some of you joined while I was already doing this thing. So the laws, the 21 laws, great laws to help you stop procrastinating and have much time in your life, and have your life structured around to make sure that you have time for everything. You will be able to do each and everything when you want to do them. The first law is set the table, which is clarity. Make sure that you're clear about the things that you have to do. Plan every day in advance. Make sure that for the things that you have to do tomorrow, do them, plan them today, and tomorrow I want to do this, and then you plan for them. Then apply the 80-20 rule in everything. The 80-20 rule is to say, if you have 10 things to do, or if you have 100% of things that you have to do, find the 20% that are going to give you the 80% results, and then you focus on those 20%, and they're going to give you the 80% results. And the other 20% you can almost do them even if you exhausted, your mind is exhausted, and you can't find, like, you are not at your peak, but you can still do those things and all those kind of things. Something like cleaning, washes, something like you can just do. It doesn't need you to be in a particular state of mind for you to do them. And then so you do the 20% that are so important that they amount to 80% of the things that you want to achieve. Then consider the consequences, which is the fourth law. Make sure that you consider the good consequences of doing that particular thing, and make sure that you focus on those things, and you consider the bad consequences that can actually happen if you don't do that particular thing, and make sure that you do those things so that you don't deal with the bad consequences. Number 5, practice creative procrastination, which is to mean that out of all the things that you have to do, you can only procrastinate, or you can only not do the things that don't have like a bigger impact in your life. So by not doing those things, they don't even have an impact in your life. Those are the things whereby if you do them, your life is not going to change that much. If you don't do them, your life is not going to change that much. Number 5, use the ABCD method, which is to say, make sure that in your day-to-day life, in your goals, in your tasks that you have to do, make sure that you understand very well which is more important, which is A. You do A, and then you go to B, and then you go to C, and then you go to D. But make sure that you understand which is the important task, and then you do them in order. And then number 6, focus on key results areas, which is almost the same as the previous law. Focus on the key results, which is the same as like which is your A, and then you focus on it, and then which is your B, and then you focus on it. So in this case, whatever results that you're going to get, make sure that the key results, the most important, you focus on them. The other things, you can ask someone else to do them, or you can do them tomorrow, or you can do them later, and all those kind of things. But you've done the 20% that amounts to the 80% of the results. And the other law is apply the law of 3, which is almost the same thing as those ones. You have to understand that out of all the laws that are there, or out of all the tasks, out of all your tasks, you need to understand 1, 2, 3 tasks that are most important, and then you focus on those 3 tasks by saying A, B, C, D. So A is the most important, you do it, you focus on it, it's a key result, so you focus on the 3 tasks, which is almost one and the same thing as the top 2 tasks. And then the other one, prepare thoroughly before you begin. So before you begin each and everything that you have to do, you have to prepare thoroughly. If you want to cook that particular meal, get all the ingredients that are going to be required, because there's nothing worse than ufuna ukupheka something and then utholakala ukuthi itswayi alikho and udinga itswayi, and then you have to go and get salt somewhere else, and then it's going to take you time, and it's going to waste your time, and it's not going to help you. So prepare in advance, and then have all the things, all the ingredients that you're going to need to actually complete this task. And then take one oil barrel at a time, which is to say, take one task at a time, focus on the task, do it, complete it, and then move into the next task, do it, and then move into the next task. Then number, I don't remember which number is it, but it's the other law that says upgrade your skills. Make sure that you upgrade your skills. Make sure that you don't stop where like the general people stop. I made an example like a teacher. If you're a teacher teaching kids, but there's those 3 or 4 kids that are struggling because of whatever situation, it could be psychological, it could be because they are slow, so you have to find a way whereby you are teaching them. You're not going to be teaching them like the other children, so you're going to be teach them in a different way. So you have to upgrade your skills, you have to upgrade yourself. You have to read whatever books that you have to read, or whatever articles that you have to read, to be able to accommodate those kids, because they're different from the other kids. So help those kids by upgrading your skills, and when you upgrade those skills, it's going to be easier for you to be able to teach them, and you're going to get your 100% pass rate if that's what you're chasing. So you need to do that. Then the other goal is to identify your constraints. You have to understand your limits, you have to understand your boundaries, to say this I can do, this I cannot do, and the things that you cannot do. If you are an engineer, if you are a business person, then this thing has to do with accounting. Don't even bother. Try to crack your head. You have to understand, this is my boundary. I'm an engineer, I'm an accountant, I can do accounting, I can't do engineering. So if engineering related, I give it to an engineer. If it's accounting related, give it to an accountant. Then it's going to save you time. You don't have to scratch yourself. You don't have to break walls trying to solve an accounting thing whereby you know very well that you're an engineer. So identify your constraints and make sure that you know your boundaries. And the other law is put the pressure on yourself. This means that if there's something that you have to do in your life, make sure that you put the pressure to be on yourself. You should be the person who's responsible for everything. You can't blame anyone else. If something was supposed to be done and it wasn't done, you can't blame the weather. You should blame yourself, because you should have known that the weather can change, that it could be raining, so you can't go outside to run. So if you afford, you could have bought a running machine inside or a cycling machine inside, or you could have prepared for a push-up engine or something like that, or maybe change his cards because you should have known before, because I think it's law number 4 that says you have to prepare thoroughly. So you should have known to say it's going to rain tomorrow. So what do I do? Do I go to run in the morning? Do I don't run? And shama push up, nama sit up, my indoors exercises and all those kind of things. So you can't blame anyone else. You have to put the pressure on yourself. If something is not being done, you should be the person who's responsible for that. So that's the other law. And then the other law is to motivate yourself into action. Speaking and writing and doing all those kind of things are not going to help if you're not doing them. So you have to do them. At the end of the day, you have to move, you have to climb, you have to do each and everything that you have to do. If it has to do with studying, you can't plan I'm going to study for hours and then you don't study. You have to study there for hours, and it has to be there for hours. If you've planned for 4 hours, then it has to be there for hours. So motivate yourself into action. Then I'm going to do this 2 1